Hey, this is Dr. Paul. Just wanted to do a breakdown analysis. I see a lot of different videos on Facebook, and quite frankly, they don't need to be on Facebook. So let me go over some of the, let me do a breakdown analysis of this video and go over the good and bad. And so here's where it starts out. So the good news is the doctor's actually doing something. He's proactive. So a lot of times it's good to do something proactive, but there's a rule about marketing. And one of the first rules is don't do something negative. That's the first rule of anything relative to marketing. Same with a video. If you're making a video, the very first rule is don't do something that looks bad. So everybody's worried about doing something good or being professional, and that's not the case at all. You just need to be highly aware of what makes a video bad, okay? So we're going to look at two things. We're going to look at the structure of the video and the content. So first of all, what you should obviously notice with the structure of the video, let me play it a little bit here.
Hello again, Dr. John Webster. Welcome to my day. Today I want to talk about sciatica. Sciatica, is a...
Okay. You should have enough right there that there's no way you should have that kind of a face shot. There is absolutely no way that camera should be in your nose like that, and your face just totally fill the screen the way it is. So remember, we should see a bust shot from the belly button up, from the belly as a minimum. So this is just offensive. This is a huge negative, and it's offensive. This is a very bad negative. Remember, the first thing is don't do things that are negative. So that's a little bit about positioning. If you at least include the belly button up, and then you put the head in the top 2/3 of the frame. So that's a little bit about positioning. The lighting looks good and the sound looks good. Sound should sound good. He's pretty darn close to his camera. Second thing is don't hold your camera. He's in his office. There's no reason for him to be holding that camera, because remember, any shaking that goes on is a major distraction, and it's going to shake. That's what's just going to happen. So this should have been stationary. This should have just been put in a tripod and left it stationary. So let's listen to a little bit more.
Dr. John Webster, welcome to my day. Today I want to talk about sciatica. Sciatica, is a diagnosis that's used very, very often.
Okay, so that's some major points relative to the content or to the structure, and then I'll go into the content. So some of the, again, just recommenting on structure. Don't do a face-up shot. Don't do an angle shot where you're looking up into the nose. The camera should be level or slightly looking down. So if you do a bust shot, if you at least include the belly button at the bottom, you'll be far enough away and it won't be offensive like what this is, just a pure face shot. And then put your head in the top 2/3, not the center of the camera, the top 2/3 of the frame. And then if you look at the lighting, we said the lighting was fine. We said the sound was fine. Okay, so that's some of the major key points. But that alone is that alone was just enough. That's just so offensive to see this. Nobody wants to start with that. That's just a huge negative. Okay, so never post a video like this, or a picture. All right, let's go into the content now.
My day. Today I want to talk about sciatica. Hello again, Dr. John Webster. Welcome to my day. Today I want to talk.
And he says, welcome to my day. Well, patients, I always say, until you care about the dentist day, until you care about the optometrist day, as a consumer, until you care about the attorney's day, until you care about the mortician's day, then they don't care about your day. No way should what you say ever have anything to do with you. And this is classic chiropractic 101 mistake. He's preaching chiropractic instead of understanding his target market or his consumer. He should be talking about what the priorities of his potential patients should be, not pushing on them chiropractic. This is a common chiropractic problem right here of communication. Now, the good news is at least he's talking about what's called a gateway. He's talking about a gateway. The reasons people see chiropractors. It is sciatica. That is a gateway. Now, the next problem
about sciatica. Sciatica, is a diagnosis that's used very, very often. And the sciatic nerve comes out of 2 or 3 different levels in your spine. It runs all the way down your leg, all the way down. It is the longest nerve in the body, and it's the size of your little finger. Look at your little finger. That's how big that nerve is. So if that nerve is pinched in your back, then yes, you can have raging.
We don't care. Patients don't care, okay? And again, chiropractors make this mistake, trying to, it's almost like he's trying to educate somebody to be a chiropractor. And patients don't care about the anatomy of a tooth. Okay, optometrist, do you care about the anatomy of an eye if you went to an optometrist? You see, patients don't care. Patients want solutions to problems. They want solutions to problems. That's what we want as consumers. I don't want to be an optometrist when I go to the optometrist, and I don't want him to talk to me like that. I want him to talk to me like a patient.
Horrible sciatica pain all the way down your leg. But I want to talk about what causes that. Being a chiropractor, I know the spine.
And those are some of the worst words that I hear chiropractors say. I want to talk about. I want to talk about. You should never, ever use those words unless you're paying the bill. Unless you plan on paying the bill, then talk about what you want to talk about. Otherwise, you should never use those words, what you want to talk about. You should always have an understanding of what your target market wants you to talk about. That's how you communicate.
Know how it works, how it fits together. And the nerves in between these vertebrae get pinched because these vertebrae get out of alignment. You could be a heavy construction worker or somebody who sits behind a desk on a computer, but eventually, somehow, some way, these bones are going to get out of alignment. And so he also totally misjudged his time. That was it. He was not even able to finish the presentation. This video never should have been posted because it was so negative. Now, what is the core content of as a bare minimum? Well, remember there's 14 topics that you cover with the marketing, and most of the time, or a lot of times, you can't cover them or you won't remember them. But as a bare minimum, you need to do a few things. Number one, as a bare minimum, is make sure you're always talking about what's called a gateway, the reason people see you, or they just don't even care anyway. You won't even grab their attention. Number two is how you're going to get them back to what they want. So here this chiropractor is not even talking about anything about what the patient wants. The patient wants to get back to. Number three is how you're going to do it. We as consumers, when we spend time or money, we want to have some kind of confidence that you have the solution instead of just saying, I have the solution. We want to hear a little bit. Now, we don't want to be taught how to do it, but we want to know enough that we feel confident that you do know how to get us back to where we want to go. And then the third category is, well, what are the effects that if I don't do it? What's the negative potential consequences that if I don't get it done? We as consumers want to know that. We want to know, well, what's the potential bad news if this stays this way or if it doesn't get taken care of? Those are main topics that you need to be covering. And of course, it helps if you add an offer in there. It helps if you add an offer, and there's multiple types of offers. But that's as a bare minimum. So out of the 14 particular categories to cover, as a bare minimum, those are the 5 that you should always cover. And by the way, that's exactly the order they should be covered also. So this video should never have been shown for it. There's too many negatives. And it starts with that right there. Dr. John Webster. Well,
man, I do not want to look up his nose, and I don't want to see the pimples on his face. This video never. This is a huge negative. So there's the good news. There's good news about being proactive, but the bad news is like I said, the very first rule in marketing is don't do something negative. You don't have to be good. Matter of fact, it helps if you don't look professional and you look kind of normal and casual. But it really hurts you when you look bad. And so you have to know what are the basic factors that will make you look bad. I just covered several of them.